Alright, so now we're going to go and we're going to talk about the shot. Alright, today's shot is, again, supposed to be a low lofted shot. So what we're looking for is, like you said earlier, when are we going to use this shot? What are the times to use it, what are the times not to use it? Well, the best time to use it, and typically when you find yourself using it, is when you miss the green. Right? So we just hit a shot from the middle of the fairway, we're just off the green, and there's nothing obstructing us, there's no bunker, there's no water, so we have an easier shot to hit because we probably all would agree that it's a lot easier to roll a ball across the ground to the cup than it is to try to toss the ball up in the air and have it land right next to the cup. Agree? Right. So the shot type that we're going to hit is going to be a low shot that's going to have a lot of roll. Alright, what the shot looks like, we've covered that. It's going to be a low lofted shot. What club do we use? Like I said, a 7 to an 8 iron, because again, we're looking for not a lot of loft, we're looking for more roll. Alright? Now let's talk about the stance. The stance can happen in many different ways, but what I typically like to teach is a nice square stance to the target, so we're parallel and we're hitting straight through to the target. The ball position. Ball position is going to be roughly in the middle of your stance back to the right foot. What I want you to remember is a nice little saying of right foot run. Alright, so it's going to be a shot where we're looking for a lot of loft, not a lot of roll. So the club that we're going to use today is typically like a sand wedge or a gap wedge. We didn't really go into say about a pitching wedge because a pitching wedge is really meant for more of a longer range. You know, we're trying to get the maximum height possible. And one of the shots that we're going to do today with the pitch shot is going to be a nice long takeaway and a nice long finish to the outside, and then we're going to go over some drills with that. But what we're trying to do is just like with the chip shot where we were sweeping the grass, that's still the essential here because we have to hit the ground to get the ball to go up in the air. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Any questions on that?
Yes.
Okay, so let's get right into it then. So we've already talked about what the shot's going to look like. We've already talked about the clubs that we're going to need. So let's kind of go through the stance, all right? So without swinging your club, kind of space out just a little bit, not too much there, perfect. All right, so what we're looking for is we're looking for the stance again to be square. We want the club about, I would say, anywhere between middle to maybe just slightly back on the right foot, but just slightly. Now the reason for this is we're going to try to catch the ball on the downswing. We're going to try to put a little about the full swing. More specifically, we're going to do the driver today. So the driver, obviously, longest club in our bag. All right. Unlike the irons, with your swing path, we're going to be, instead of swinging more down in a downward motion to go get the ball, now we're going to be swinging more through the ball. Like an outward motion. All right. So it's going to be like an inside to out swing is what we're going to be looking for. Obviously, with this being up on a tee, we don't have to have any impact with the ground. So if you're making impact with the ground today, we'll definitely take a look at that. But that's something that we don't need, obviously. So let's talk a little bit about ball placement. Because ball placement with a driver is very important. And the reason I say that is because we want the same exact start point every single time. The biggest mistake that I find with new golfers and beginning golfers and even intermediate golfers, you find that they have a different start point every time. So when I say that, what I mean is they'll put the ball in the middle of their stance, they'll put the ball all the way on the left side of their stance, they'll put the ball halfway in between, but they don't do it consistently. So every time you change where the ball position is, you're changing part of the outcome. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So, and the other thing too is the tee height. No one ever thinks about the tee height, but if you're not teeing the ball up the same height every single time, that also can affect it. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, so let's talk about stance first. Where do you think in the stance we want the ball position?
Off your left foot.
Yep, just off, for today's purposes, we're going to go just off the inside part of our left foot. All right, so when we set that club up every single time, that's what we're looking for. We're looking for about this position right here.
Okay.
Good so far?
Yep.
All right, so let's talk about the tee of the ball. So what are some thoughts on the tee of the ball? Where does everyone tee it?
Usually they say that you should see about half the ball above the top of the club.
Perfect. Anyone else?